On paper, the Vivo X300 Ultra should destroy the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Its camera hardware is insane, but the iPhone has something Vivo can't easily copy: years of software tuning from millions of users around the world. So I went out with my friend Nada to test them in real life and answer one question: which phone actually has the better camera? The main camera on Vivo X300 Ultra has a few key differences to the iPhone that makes it unique. For one, it is a 35mm instead of 24mm that we often see on smartphones. That means when you take a picture, the subject looks closer. To make the test more interesting so you can compare pictures side by side, I zoom a bit on iPhone to match it to the Vivo. The second important detail on the main lens is that the Vivo has a larger sensor. Larger sensors let more light in, which results in a better background blur too. When you look at these pictures, you can notice that Nada looks a bit more separated from the background, and it gives the phone a professional look because that's what a real camera does. Also, the processing is a bit softer, which again gives the phones a more DSLR and filmic look. Talking about color science can become tricky since both phones have many modes, like Vivo has Vivid and Refined, that are now replacing the old Zeiss Vivid and Zeiss Natural modes, plus many others. An iPhone also has undertones and all of that, but to keep things simple, I picked standard mode on the iPhone and refined on the Vivo, which are the default ones. In those modes, the Vivo tends to be more magenta in white balance, as you can see on the Vienna Opera House walls, and iPhone has green. As I mentioned, the Vivo is also a bit softer and filmic, while iPhone has more of this sharpened phone camera look. When it comes to contrast, the Vivo is more filmic with soft shadows, while iPhone is more contrasty, which can make the photo look nicer for social media. For video, I would say the video colors are closer than the photos. The only difference is that iPhone here is a tad warmer and also sharper. In this sunset shot, you can see for one that Nada has more background blur on the Vivo, and also she has more magenta on her skin tone. Both phones can do up to 120 frames per second without any issues in 4K, which is great if you want to make a slow motion video. These days, almost all flagship phones can do 120 frames per second, but still, based on this test, I do find that they are doing a great job at it. The larger sensor on Vivo also can create nicer food photos because there's a bit of blur and it gives the photos a 3D vibe. In theory, the larger sensor should give an advantage in night photos like this one, but in practice, iPhone in my opinion did a better overall job with picking a better white balance. Before we move to the telephoto comparison, I just want to tell you that if you want to see more camera samples, you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button. This way, you also support the channel and I thank you for that. The telephoto comparison is even juicier because the Vivo has a much larger sensor than iPhone. It is also 85mm compared to 100mm on the iPhone, which is a more standard portrait lens. For example, I took this video of Nada on my Sony camera with an 85mm prime lens. If you look at this video from both phones at the same zoom level, you can see the look on Vivo is closer to the Sony camera since you get more background blur and bokeh. The other difference is, like we've seen before, the more magenta skin tone on Vivo and warmer one on iPhone. For photos too, you can immediately see the filmic vibe on the Vivo plus the more subject separation from the background. The optical quality is also really great on Vivo, and on the iPhone, the face looks a tad over-sharpened, in my opinion. This picture maybe tells you what I mean more. The Vivo photo simply looks like it is taken by a real camera. Some of you may still prefer the iPhone photo for the warmer tone, but that's something easily fixable. This bokeh can also give more depth to non-portrait photos like this one by blurring the surroundings. That's especially very useful for telephoto macro shots where you only want to bold the subject. Also here at 170mm zoom, the Vivo is holding optical quality impressively while iPhone is suffering. I'm personally using Vivo for many months now as my personal phone, and I use it in the garden a lot to take these photos that can't be taken the same way on the iPhone. You may say, but you can always use portrait mode to get the bokeh you want, but from my experience, you don't get what you actually want, which is natural bokeh. For example, I took this photo of Nada on my Sony camera, and here I took the photos in portrait mode with artificial bokeh. There is nothing wrong with the photos, but you can tell the hair is cut here and there, and generally you can notice the artificial background blur quite quickly. But we should also not overstate the larger sensor too much, as you can see here, as long as you are taking photos in daylight and the subject is rather flat and you are not trying to create any depth, either phone will work just fine. Even on crazy zoom levels like 740mm, iPhone can still make okayish photos. Or here on the 217mm zoom photo, Nada even preferred the iPhone because the sharper look, and even though we know this sharpness is not optical, it doesn't matter if you prefer it at the end. For indoors though, the larger telephoto sensor definitely works in the Vivo's favor. You can immediately see that Vivo is producing much better quality, and Nada's face is not pixelated and over-sharpened on Vivo like it is on the iPhone. But again, at night, iPhone is picking a better white balance, and Vivo, despite having a larger sensor, is not producing a better photo, which shows the importance of software. As I mentioned earlier, the main sensor on Vivo is a 35mm one. To make sure you can still take great photos from 14mm to 35mm, Vivo put a lens as large as the main lens on iPhone on their ultrawide camera. In a photo like this, you won't notice the difference in the size of the sensors though, as there is enough light in the scene. Of course, the colors are going to be different. For example, Vivo has a very vivid sky compared to the green tone on the iPhone, but if we move indoors, you can see that the photo on Vivo is brighter and also has better optical quality compared to the iPhone. And here at night, not only did Vivo make better correction for face and body proportions, but it also killed it when it comes to optical quality. On the other hand, iPhone definitely has the upper hand in selfies. The selfie camera is much wider and you can fit more into the frame in normal mode. But also, there is a horizontal mode since the selfie camera sensor is rectangular, and that's a game changer for vlogging. Or when you have more friends in one frame that you want to fit, like this picture. Vivo X300 Ultra also added a lot of interesting features. For example, they put more importance on a street photography mode and brought it to the main camera interface. It is definitely my favorite mode on any camera phone I've ever had. You have an unlimited amount of filters and creativity on it, and you can define your own presets too. The photos are super filmic, and they give me Fujifilm camera vibes. Overall, as I said in the beginning of the video, the Vivo wins in optical quality hands down. Every single lens is better than what you get on the iPhone. But iPhone has had years and years to perfect their software in different situations, and they simply get more training data too because of their huge user base. That said, I personally prefer Vivo since you can always fix a bit of imperfection in post-processing. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch how Vivo X300 Ultra compares to other Ultra phones like Galaxy, Xiaomi, and Oppo. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to TechMo, and I will see you in the next one.